Welcome to space weather. Looking at the sun at 193 angstroms, we got a giant coronal hole rotating in, which is shaped like a turkey leg on top of half a Pac-Man's face. No sunspots, and we've got 21 tabs open, so no screwing around. Time to get to everything. Take a look at 304 angstroms. Plasma filaments all around the edge of the solar disk. Pretty towering one in the southeast. Another big violent one up here in the northwest. And let's look at 171 angstroms. We do have an active region which is setting. But ultimately, the sun is at a solar minimum level of activity, even with the slight uptick in solar proton density. Let's look at the magnetic lines. That coronal hole looks like it ought to be magnetically connected. And while we think it is, we're getting an oddly high phi angle signal, indicating that perhaps its magnetic field is connected to the solar North Pole coronal hole. Now, let's head to spaceweathernews.com, look at the actual data here. And we know that there's not been any sort of uptick in X-ray flux, completely flatlined. We are seeing a choppy phi angle signal around 270. Best guess is that is the coronal hole magnetic field. We do see an uptick in solar wind density and an uptick in speed at the same time. And that should be the coronal hole wind stream from the last coronal hole. I think it's number 50. Expecting a small uptick in the speed and a downtick in the solar wind density as that wind stream arrives in full force. Here's your magnetometer data. It's looking very choppy. And that's about what we would expect. I think that's probably the connection to the coronal hole right there. We were a little bit off yesterday by a couple hours in when the magnetic connection would happen. Also, we're at a cosmic ray alert here. Light to moderate cosmic ray alert. We've had a KP index of 0 about 18 of the last 24 hours. X-ray flux is flatlining, extremely, extremely low. The ionosphere is extremely discharged. And there's the F2 layer. Aurora forecast is weak. Let's look at the earthquake situation over the last 8 hours. All right, what do we have? All right, so we've got 2 more 500 plus kilometer deep quakes in Fiji, which puts its antipode Greece on alert, as it's been for weeks. Those are spooky earthquakes. That's a very, very deep depth. Fiji remains on alert for a mid-6, say a 6.5. As if a 5.6 occurs at 568 kilometers, that would equate to about a 6.5 at the surface. You would add about a full magnitude. Another one at Fiji at 548 kilometers. El Salvador gets a 4.6. Mayotte gets a 5.0. Can't remember where that is, so let's take a look. Okay, between Madagascar. That's the African Rift Zone. So that's a pretty sketchy quake there. Mexico gets a 5.5. That likely caused some damage. Let's take a look at that one on the map. Okay, it was out to sea, so probably not causing any damage. That's a good thing. Got a 4.6 in Iran. And a small 3.7 in Alaska. Moving on. Let's look at the cosmic ray situation. Our favorite cosmic ray source, Deneb, aka Cygnus X3. There's your data. By the way, we will have links below if you feel like looking at this stuff yourself. Here's the Oulu cosmic ray detector in Finland. As we can see, there's been an uptick in the past few days. And the last few hours, indeed. Let's look at the Mexico cosmic ray detector, showing a similar situation to Oulu. KP0, cosmic ray flux increase. Now, let's head to university. Let's not head to university. Let's head to Universe today to congratulate NASA on landing its InSight lander, the 8th such object to have been landed on Mars by mankind. This is going to drill deeper than anybody's ever drilled into a planet besides Earth before. There's going to be seismographs and thermographs and all kinds of instrumentation. Don't worry about the dirt all over the fisheye view, because that's on the lens cover, which has not yet been removed. Link to that below also. Let's look at the U.S. Doppler radar. Thanks to AccuWeather.com. And the Northeast. Snow and rain. Mixed snow showers all over the, north central region, as the jet stream is dipping down, bringing icy air to the central portion of the U.S. And they're getting some heavy rains in Northern California, Oregon, and Washington. A little bit of wintry mix by Montana. Let's take a look at the NASA GOES water vapor map to see what's going on the upper level, aka the real story. And that is what you call cold air. Jet stream is pulling down cold air from Canada as it's been, heading up to the northeast, causing a convergence zone. And yeah, there's a bit of an atmospheric river coming out of the Pacific there. California getting some much needed rain. Central states getting some not needed freeze. Moving on. Let's look at solar ham. And let's look at the synoptic map. Sure enough, Coronal hole 53. It's big. It's powerful. It's shaped like an anthill. It's shaped like the inside of a termite mound. Definitely not shaped like a square or a triangle, that's for sure. And let's look at the real-time solar wind. So that phi angle signal is actually looking pretty solid there. 15.31 protons per cubic centimeter. So that's a significant uptick in the solar wind density, and a small uptick in the solar wind speed. We're looking for the density to come down and the solar wind speed to go up to, say, 450. It's going to be a weak wind stream from the last coronal hole. Nothing major expected there. Let's look at stock market, stock, bond, commodities, currencies, etc. So yesterday there was a rally in the U.S. markets. The Dow was up 354. The NASDAQ was up 142. Apparently the Federal Reserve Board meets this week. So that's going to be an issue, as the Federal Reserve has to decide whether or not it's going to raise interest rates again. And it's been indicating that it might not raise interest rates because of the perturbations in the market. Also, some interesting data here. Oil reached another 52-week low. Kind of odd. But yesterday, oil dropped again. Show you the 1-year graph, if it loads. And there's your 1-year chart. Silver is still a fantastic buying opportunity, as silver didn't go down, but it's still Only $20 off that 14 level, which is the main support level. Great buying opportunity for silver. Also, let's look real quick at Bitcoin. There you have it. Bitcoin getting hammered. Down 62.72% off of its one-year chart. And $15,000 approximately off of its all-time high. So if you think you're going to hide in cryptos, think again. Now, for everybody out there telling you that the ice caps are freezing, they're right. Everybody that tells you the ice caps are melting, they are dead wrong. Now, we find this odd that oil prices have gone down again, but yeah. See the black line? Yeah. That's a lot of ice. And just to visually look at the Northwest Passage, it's frozen shut. And let's take a look at tropical tidbits to see what's going to happen snowfall-wise in the Northern Hemisphere. And okay, there you have now. There's the 28th, the 29th. There's the 30th. December 1st, December 2nd, and December 3rd. Greenland's going to get recoded. Let's pause that. It's a GFS model. Links to tropical tidbits below in the description. Getting 20 inches of snow in places like certain parts of Colorado, Utah, Nevada, Maine, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland. Greenland's going to get recoded with snow, so that Greenland mass balance is going to go up in the next week. And hey, check it out. We just made it through 21 tabs. How you like them apples? All right. Hey, everybody. Subscribers especially. Thanks for subscribing to the videos. Thanks for viewing every day. We do appreciate your input. Zoom in on that coronal hole. It's a biggin. Now remember, when you're staring at the sun, don't drink. And if you drink, stare at the sun anyway. Just use proper filters.